What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals. Kyle and Al back together. It's probably been like a week and a half since we've made a video together, yet it feels like an eternity.
It has felt
Um,
like forever.
it has. So, before we get into it, thank you to Movie Meal patrons, Steve, Kimberly, and Karen. Guys, please go be a member of the Patreon. Even if you can just support us a little bit, it would really mean a lot. We've got all different tiers up there. It's all linked in the description. Go check it out. We also currently Movie Meal merch is on sale. We got a promo code for you.
Ooh.
It's just it'll be on the screen as well. Promo code is Movie Meals, all lowercase, all put together, no spaces. Movie Meals, and you'll get 20% off any of the purchases. We wanted to do a little sale. We made some money off of this. It's been nice. We've Kyle's come up with some really cool designs, and we have a big new kind of bold design. I think we're going with here for the summer. That's just very based off of Kyle and I, and I absolutely love it. I can't wait for you guys to see it. So we're gonna throw a few things that have been on since December off. So you have till the 10th to use this promo code, get 20% off, and we will. Then it'll be discontinued, and then a day or so later, we are going to drop the new merchandise. So go look for that for the summer. Summer is around the corner. I mean, it's for some people it's here, for some people it's still another couple, the rest of this month away. But go check that out. Go get the merch. It's all linked in the description. It would mean a lot. Hit that bell so you get notifications every time we post. Comment. We do respond to comments quite often, so I would give us a comment. We'd love to know your thoughts. Here we are, friends. Kyle and I are friends. We've been friends for a long time. About 24, 25 years, something like that. Not 25. That's incorrect. And not 24. It's been like 20. But 20 years is a long time to know each other.
I was just going to roll with it.
Kyle was told there would be no math. But we're friends. Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have been a Friends fan for a while, had watched the show once or twice through in your late teens. Am I correct there?
Yeah, late teens, early 20s. Basically, Netflix helped me finally watch the whole series. You would see the reruns growing up every once in a while, but it was never a household event, at least in my family, to gather together and watch Friends. That was more for home improvement.
Love home improvement. My family is get Al in there. Get Al.
He'd come back.
Friends is massive in my household. My aunt, my mom, my sisters, obsessed with the Friends show. I had never watched it all the way through until like 2 or 3 years ago. It was the same with The Office. I finally decided, I was like, look, I've got so much time right now. This is the time to binge a couple series. I'll finally sit down and watch both these shows, these sitcoms, and I guess The Office isn't technically a sitcom, but finally decided to do it. Friends, I really, really enjoyed. Obviously it had been around my house a ton. All my cousins being so obsessed with it. I mean, they're playing trivia games all the time. I used to groan when they would say we're playing Friends trivia instead of any other game that I could participate in. Now I can kind of compete. Yeah, play Star Wars Tycoon. But I've only seen it the once through, but and I had seen episodes here and there, in hotel rooms when my parents put it on at holidays, things like that. But now I really do enjoy sitting down and watching it when those come on. Watching it all the way through was great. I love the show. It is a bit dated when you go back and rewatch it, I think. Some of the jokes don't work as well either, obviously, but that's going to hit with time. But the show is great. It's a great show. There's a reason it lasted the test of time. So to the reunion here. Kyle, we'll start with you here. What were your thoughts? I guess we'll just positives and negatives as we do here. So what'd you like about it?
I liked how the show really... I liked how the reunion really made an understanding, especially for a younger. My camera's starting to fall down. Sorry, guys. Really gave audiences old and new like a reminder or a refresher or just a basic understanding of like what this show meant to a lot of people. There was many segments throughout it to where, you know, whether they were showing like for certain fans of the show on like how it meant to them when they first watched the show, how certain characters meant to them, how they were portrayed. And I think that funny enough, like this show just did a really good job at giving us the understanding and the reminder of what this show meant during the 10 years of its run. That it's a show about your best friends in a pivotal time in your life in your late 20s, early 30s, when you're trying to, you know, get the job, find someone to settle down with, start a family. It was a time where your best friends were your family. And I think on top of some other things that this show did really well, that this reunion highlighted all of that very well. And they also were able to highlight very well, I thought, the best moments of Friends, you know, the heartbreaking moments, the laugh out loud moments, the heartwarming moments. And they did a really good job at being respectful to the six and the six actors who were in charge or starring in this show, excuse me, and also the creators as well. I felt like that they, you know, some of the bits that they had were kind of a bit cheesy, which will go into my negatives a bit, but I think they did a really good job at, you know, easing them into this situation, being like, hey, it's been 17 years. You haven't been on this set in forever, but we'll try and recreate it. We'll try and, you know, really get everything going so that way you guys can feel comfortable, you know, rebonding if they needed to rebond. It seemed like they were still pretty close though, to where that wasn't too big of an issue, but even still, they really did a good job of paying respect to all the people, the main people that, you know, worked so hard to make this show as special as it was, and really give them the time to, you know, be able to say the stuff that they loved about the show, get behind the scenes stuff about the show that they loved. And it really did a good job, I think, of making fans happy that we got to see more Friends, even if it was, you know, 17 years later.
Yeah, you know, people have been taking the laughter out of when Matthew Perry says he doesn't hear from anybody after Lisa Kudrow's talking about it, and how people actually just, they all kind of look at each other like we really don't. I actually really don't think they do talk to each other a whole lot. I think what Lisa was saying is like, look, if we call, they'll pick up, but I don't think they call. And I think that's been that way for a while because they said we've not all been in a room together in forever. Those moments are the moments I liked. We got, you know, some insight onto things that like we already knew that we had seen in bloopers or things like that, but it was nice seeing the actors talk about it. I really agree with you. Seeing, it's Marta Kaufman and what's the name of the other, creator of the show?
On the spot, I don't remember, but let me look it up for you.
So the two creators of the show, I want to say it's David something. David and I don't know. Kyle's looking.
Well, there was three of them. There was three of them, right?
Yeah, but David Crane.
Yeah.
David Crane and Mark Kaufman are the creators, and then I think the third guy was more of like a producer who came on after. But I think those two, it was their love child, and I loved what they said, like a good explanation of that. Because my favorite sitcom is How I Met Your Mother. I actually just watched a couple episodes with my cousin. He was here this last weekend. Part of the reason these videos are coming out so late, we watched a couple episodes together, and I was sitting there being like, thinking of what they said in the Friends thing, that this is a show about friends. When your friends are your family. And I think that's why How I Met Your Mother hit me so well, because it's the exact same and hit me when I was at that point. So like, I just love that. It's so true with Friends. The comedy is so freaking funny in the show. I really loved the discussion of this reunion. That's what I really liked. And to transition, I guess, into my negatives here, because I just need to say this. The first 5 minutes, I absolutely hated. I hated it.
Really?
And I hated it because of the camera work. It was such an endearing, sweet moment, and the camera was like this. Wow, guys, look, we're back. This is the couch. This is where Courtney read her stuff. The camera work was atrocious. I hated it. I was so mad. I was
Sure.
scoffing out loud that because, well, I just really messed with my camera. But I was scoffing. I couldn't handle it. I tweeted about it. I was like, this is absurd. The camera work was horrible in the first 5 minutes, and it undercut that sweet moment. The sweetness is there, but I think it was, for me, it completely got taken to the side because of how bad the camera work was. Thankfully, it straightened out because I looked at that runtime, and because I was expecting like a 45-minute, maybe an hour thing, but it's a 2 hour long special. Um, I wish, this is my biggest complaint outside of that camera work at the beginning. I wish they had just had them sit and talk for 2 hours. I think that would have been so much better. Get all those guest stars together. Like, I think all of them. If you put everybody who was a guest who was on that show, it was a bummer Paul Rudd couldn't be there. Um,
Yeah.
Who's the other? There's another big actor who was in the show that couldn't be there, or like the twins, like Cole Sprouse, who ended up playing the kid a lot more. I think
Yeah.
like those guys. I know they couldn't go because of scheduling. Like Paul Rudd even said it. Like, I'm pretty sure he's filming Quantum Realm right now, which is why he couldn't be
Could
there,
be.
or Quantum Mania. And I think it would just would have been cool having them. Like, you couldn't even figure out how to Skype them in. You Skyped in Gunther. Like, we couldn't even figure that out.
Gunther got shafted.
He did. He had
He
such a
got
big part,
shafted.
and it was like they tried to make a spectacle of it, and that's not the spec. The spectacle isn't Friends. The spectacle is the friends. It's their conversation. Having all of them together in a room, just like a round table, would have been way better. I didn't like the James Corden stuff. He cut through answers super fast. That's just an interview. Like, if I wanted to watch them be interviewed, I would have just watched their many interviews. You know what I mean? Like, separately. I guess they weren't together. We did get some good bombshell stuff, like the fact that David Schwimmer and Jen had like real crushes on each other. I
Yeah.
100%
Yeah.
believe they crossed the line. I think they're lying. I absolutely believe that they had a good time. But I'm
All
ranting a
right.
lot, and I've got more to say. But I want you to chime in here. What are you thinking on your kind of improvement side for this?
Yeah, I guess when it comes to the negatives, I'm in the same realm as you, where it definitely was a reunion for, how do I want to say this? Like, it was a reunion for Friends, but yet it didn't feel like they covered everything about Friends. Like,
It. I've
there
got your
was a
analogy.
lot. Yeah, okay, you go for it.
It felt like a high school reunion. Like, you show up, you chat
Okay.
a little bit, and then it really turns into the party. That's what it felt like. It didn't necessarily feel like it was about them all the time. It was a lot more
Yeah.
about the spectacle that we're back together. The friends are back. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it
Yeah.
felt like. Sorry to cut you off. Please continue
No,
here.
no, thank you for elaborating on that. Yeah, like, and even when they weren't able to, make it a spectacle, they tried to make it a spectacle, a spectacle, excuse me, by going in weird directions with it. I mean, they had some weird cameos. I mean, Justin Bieber, David Beckham, they had, they had so many great
Kit
side characters throughout
Harrington.
that show. Kid Harrington, they had so many good side characters, but yet you got Hand Guy from that one Vegas episode. Like, the guy's a funny actor, but like, that's who you get as,
Really, I know him
like,
more
it's
from
like,
How I Met Your Mother. He's got a bigger role in
yeah,
How I Met Your Mother.
yeah, I think, yeah, if I'm thinking that is
He
the right
plays
guy now that I think about it.
Victoria's. Isn't it the same? It's the same actor. He plays Victoria's
No,
husband, isn't it?
Victoria. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I was getting my
Yeah, I'm
characters confused.
correct.
But it just it, they did a good job at highlighting what made Friends special, and it was great seeing the cast reunited, and they were still funny too, like bouncing off of
They
one another
were.
and reminiscing. They were great, but it felt like, and that stuff was great, but then it felt like when they were trying to expand on, the other stuff that made Friends so special, or even made like some of the laugh out moments that they highlighted, some of the best stuff in this reunion, it just felt empty. Like, there's a runway show, and they have Cara Delevingne strutting out in like the potato costume. Like, oh, okay, but why do we?
Well, Jay
It's
Beebs was in the potato.
okay, whatever. But
The only
you know what I mean, though.
the
It's
only
just it's like
part
this feels empty, and that's it just felt wrong. Like, and it was so close to being like really really good for a reunion, but it just there was just a lot of like stuff that they crammed in there that just felt empty and hollow.
Yeah, the runway stuff though, when Joey came out wearing all the clothes again and he snuck away, and even David Schwimmer, who was sitting next to him, was like, how the heck did he get out of here? Like he freaked out. Like that was
Sure, yeah,
really cool.
yeah, it's
But
fun.
like, and Cara Delevingne, I know, is a like a Friends super fan. So when she was announced to be a guest on the show, that made sense to me. But I didn't know. I've never heard if Kit Harington or David Beckham or these massive, massive Friends fans. So like, and them talking about it was fine enough and cool, but like, it wasn't. I would have just rather
It,
watched them chat. And what I
it
really didn't like. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna remind you that Cara Delevingne had to go out in two costumes, like back to back. Like they didn't have enough people to show up. They were like, okay, you gotta go out there and do another costume. Like she went out there twice. I'm like, you
Well,
couldn't even do that right. Like, what are you
well,
doing?
that's. I mean, maybe she wanted to. Like maybe she asked. Like we don't know. Like that's a
Even
little. That's a
still,
deep nitpick
that's
there. What? See,
I'm I
here's
think
not
I
so
think it
deep a
just
nitpick for you.
I think it just highlights like my point of like this extra stuff that they put in was ridiculous and it wasn't good. And it didn't
It was
even
the
work when they tried to stuff it in.
the table
That's just what
reads.
I mean.
I didn't really like. I remember thinking when I heard they were going to do table reads that I was like I was hesitant. They sure they played it off and it was like funny for them, but as an
Mhm.
audience member, I don't care about watching them reread lines in the exact same expression they did before, cutting back and forth. To me, that
Yeah.
didn't work. I would
No, I
rather.
like that.
I thought it just wasn't as magical because I'm watching what they've already done. I want to watch them talk about what the show meant. Like those were the moments I really liked. Matthew Perry, who did not look great. I mean, I know he had just had surgery, but I mean, the man
Uh,
has been through more than about all of them put together. I mean, the transition alone that he went through on the show. But
yeah.
his moment was my favorite moment of the whole thing because it was so real, so vulnerable. And that's what I wanted out of this reunion. If they weren't going to do an actual episode, I wanted like the rawness. And I loved the Jen Ann stuff with David Schwimmer revealing that, but him being like, look, I had a massive like panic attack every day if we filmed in front of a live audience that I wouldn't be funny enough. That, because especially because he's the funny guy, he's the one getting written for this. He's the one getting literally written the jokes.
Mhm.
And to know that he went through a massive alcohol and drug problem during that time as well, like that was a lot of pure, honest human light and decency and honesty. And that is what
Yeah.
I wanted the whole 2 hours to be. And it was a bummer because we only got snippets of that. There was no reason James Corden needed to be there. There was no
Oh
reason.
God, no.
And it felt more like a documentary at times. Like, why are we filming the creators of the show documentary style, but they're also at this reunion night, but they're not really getting a lot of praise? And even like the mom and dad, like that was such a sweet moment, and they also felt like they got shafted. They barely got any time to chat. They made like one joke. It felt like the producers were like, "Here's what you're gonna say," and then they
Mhm.
ran off. So it's just a bit of a bummer that they constantly kept being like, "Are you gonna do another episode? Are you gonna do a movie? Would you come back?" And they all say no. So you finally get them all back, and they threw them a party, and like good for them. Like I know if I was, if my high school play crew got together and we did a table read, it'd be a lot of fun. I'd have a blast. But as an audience member, like I didn't like just care about that as much. But anything else you want to add here?
It feels like that we've been poo-pooing a lot on this reunion, so I'll just say more positive stuff. Like I
I just
said,
said a big positive.
I think for the most part we've been a little negative, but I will say
Well, it should
this:
have
I
been
think when
better.
it came to the stuff of reuniting the main cast and reminding all the fans on why this show was so important to them, for the creators, for the actors, for anyone watching, I thought that stuff was really well handled, and it was good to finally be able to see them be reunited and get to celebrate the show. And honestly, I'm glad that this happened because I think this is good for all the fans. Like, I know they've been clamoring for a movie or, some type of series, but I think it's good to put the lid on it now. I think after this reunion, it's time to let them go off in their own things.
Yeah, I mean, Matt LeBlanc has been on TV since Friends in very successful manners since then. David Schwimmer's, honestly, I was not the biggest David Schwimmer fan for a long time, and Friends kind of, when I finally watched the whole thing, turned my perspective, and then the O.J. Simpson show really turned it for me because I thought he was really good in that. Jen's always been great. Lisa Kudra's always been great. Courtney Cox, I have not seen in much, but she is a talent. And Matthew Perry is funny. He's just been through a lot. But yeah, no, it was nice. It was nice. It just was a bummer because it could have been more. But again, I'm not a huge, massive, deep, hard Friends fan. I know my mom absolutely loved it. She had a few parts she didn't necessarily like. Like, she agreed, like, do we really need this James Corden thing and stuff like that? But she just liked seeing them. My sisters were in the same boat. So maybe it's just because I'm not as big of a fan. But who knows?
Maybe.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching the Friends Reunion. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Go check out that merch, guys. We got a deal. Use the promo code Movie Meals, all lowercase, all no spaces, all put together. Get 20% off one of your purchases. If you finally were like, oh, these Movie Meals guys are kind of cool, but like, I don't like their stuff because it's pricey. Well, now it's less pricey, so go do that. Thank you to the Movie Meal patrons. Go be a member of that as well. It would really mean a lot to us. And as always, thank you for watching, Mom.
See you guys.